Hi, this is Chippy with UMPCportal.com and the Eking S515 UMPC, which I'm going to unbox here. This is new on the market, sent over by mobilx.eu, mobilx.eu, so thanks to them for sending it over. It's a UMPC with a slider keyboard running on a 1.2 GHz Atom processor, 450 grams. It's quite an interesting little device. Let's open it up and take a look at the device. Pricing on this one is base model around €450 without an operating system. It comes in two versions. Comes with and without 3G. So basically what you've got here is, let's get it out of the pouch, is a 4.8 inch screen, 1.2 GHz processor, 1 gigabyte of RAM, 16 or 32 gigabytes of SSD, and on this one the feature is that you've got the slider and tilt keyboard, which is quite nice. So you've got the whole mini HTC shift thing going on there, which is quite cool. So this one is running Windows Vista. Let's move in a bit closer to the device and I'll take you around some of the ports and show you the keyboard in a bit more detail. So here it is. Let's just take the screen plastic off. So this is a soft resistive touch screen, WVGA resolution, 4.8 inch in diameter. So go around the front of the device then. On the left hand side here you've got left and right mouse buttons, and the reason you've got that is because on the right side here, this part of the frame is actually a touchpad, a mouse pad, and it's a pretty good one at that. It's actually very responsive and extremely usable. So when you're using the device like this, you have great control over Windows operating system or the mouse, and even in this mode you can still use the mouse pointer and mouse buttons, and also thumb the device as well. So it's pretty well thought out. This company Eking were the guys that bought the Y-Brain i1 design, which was also a very productive, if somewhat ugly, UMPC, but this slider design has tidied it up very nicely. So above the mouse pointers you've got a webcam there. I believe it's 1.3 megapixels, so basic for Skyping. And then on the right here, a couple of buttons for screen brightness. If you press both of those together, it blanks the screen out, which is quite handy for saving battery life. On the right hand side you've got microphone input. On the top you've got DC in, headset port, so that's headphones and microphone. You've got a switch. I believe this is for switching from internal to external, or clone and extended screen. The docking station connects at the bottom, and then there's power. Full USB 2 port on the top right here, and then a mini USB port on the left hand side. And there's that docking port I mentioned. Now I haven't got the docking station, and I'm not sure if it will actually support a cable rather than a docking station for the VGA output, but that's where it would go. And then on the right hand side here, micro SDHC card slot for expansion of up to 32 gigabytes. On the back there's not much on the device. You've got a fairly loud and reasonable quality mono speaker here. Actually, I'd say fair to good quality, having tested it out earlier. There's air vent ports there. It does have a fan in this device. And then underneath that, this is where the 3G port goes, the 3G module. So you can choose your own 3G module and slot it in there. In theory you could actually put other devices in there. This is a PCI Express mini slot. Underneath there, and accessible through the front there, is where you put your SIM card. So you have also antennas pre-wired. So this is pretty good for just being able to drop in your own 3G card and off you go with mobile computing. On the left hand side here though, let's just pop this side part off because there's an interesting battery. That's the approximately 13 or 14 watt hour battery that slots in the back there. and that slots back in like that, and then the protector goes on like that. So a quicker look at the keyboard then. This is a button keyboard rather than a physical scissor style action on the keys, so it's very definite membrane type button action on this. It's medium to lightweight, but it's definitely not something that you could use for touch typing. It's more of a one finger type experience, but actually for thumbing it's pretty good. It's quite wide, so crossing over thumbs means you don't get to all the keys, but there's a definite click on the device which really helps for thumbing. And one thing that's missing is the second shift key. There's one here and not one here, so you have to think about sticky shift keys set up on here. And there's no F11 and F12 buttons, which means full screen on Firefox you have to set up using the menu system. You've got access to keyboard backlight. There's a keyboard backlight on this. Switch the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on and off. They are not independent. Sleep mode and all the usual brightness settings, volume settings. There's a 3G on-off button here, and the usual page up, page down, home and end. So the slider action is fairly loose. This is not a very exciting slider action. It's not one you want to play with all the time, and in fact there's a little bit of looseness in the actual screen on top of that. This is not the best quality, but actually it holds itself at most angles quite nicely. It's not going to fall back, and it's got a rubber feet on it, so although it does push back, I'm putting quite a bit of pressure on that. So you could actually do this type of operation on it. This one's got the 16 gig SSD in it, and it's running Windows 7 Professional on this. Mobilix have built this very quickly for me so I can test it out. There, as far as I know, isn't a Linux distro available for it yet, but there's a couple of options. Mandriva, Ubuntu 9.10, and potentially Jolly Cloud, which is coming up with GMA 500 support soon. So that could be interesting for people to test out. So clearly it's not the thinnest device on the market, and one of the shocking things about it is when you look at this 800 by 480 device, which has processing power, about 50% of the processing power as this would at full power, but look at the difference in size. It's quite amazing. Now of course this doesn't have all the USB ports on it, it doesn't have the keyboard on it either, but it has the same screen, and for certain operations clearly this is going to be a lot better. This is around the 220 gram mark I think, and this is 450. So right then, let's this is a preview version of Windows 7 unactivated. So there's that mouse pointer I was telling you about. I've got to do the screen calibration here, which reminds me there is a very small but extendable stylus in here, so we should be able to, he says, which I think we have to wait a second before I can actually get this away. So this needs to be fixed. This is coming up for calibration every time the software is not set up properly. But let's just calibrate that and get that out of the way. Right, and then we're into Windows 7. There's a Mobilink software installed here, but let's just go into Firefox. Actually I need to switch the Wi-Fi on, so let's switch the Wi-Fi on through that. You'll see the light comes on here to show me the Wi-Fi is working. There's a disk activity indicator, on-off light, and battery operation light as well. I'm not connected to my wireless LAN down here in the studio, so maybe I can reach the one upstairs, but if not, I would have to set that up. If it does connect to the Wi-Fi upstairs, then I can at least say that the Wi-Fi quality is reasonably good. So the screen brightness is pretty good. Obviously this video is being done with auto brightness settings, so you won't be able to see me adjust it very well, but double click pushes it away nicely, brings it back very quickly. Now it has connected to my wireless LAN upstairs, which is a couple of house walls away, and it's come up with 3 bars, which indicates that the Wi-Fi antenna on this is very strong, or at least the Wi-Fi setup is extremely strong. So that's the big advantage if you're in a situation where you need to have strong Wi-Fi. I hope the 3G antenna is as good. If it is, then clearly this makes a very good mobile connectivity device. Firefox is installed now. On the WVGA screen there are limitations. Some applications don't work. For example, TweetDeck comes up with notification windows that you can't get to, or you can't get to the accept button on. So it's not ideal, but the touchscreen's working nicely, and of course, as with all UMPCs, you've got the processing power to really get some fast web browsing going on this device. Full flash support, of course, out of the box, and very nice indeed. So I'll be doing some more testing on this over the coming weeks. It's going to be tough to side by side it with something like the Arcos 5 internet tablet and to really pick out the advantages, because it's a lot thicker, a lot heavier. Now there is processing power. Of course, you've got all the driver support for USB, so if you want to plug in any webcams or your terabyte USB drive, no problem, that will work. And you've got a webcam on this as well, so Skype video should work quite nicely. Obviously Flash Player is working, and you've got the choice of the best browsers in the world, so there's a massive advantage if you're someone that's working with the web in a professional capacity. So battery life we need to test. Usability, keyboard so far I found to be quite good. Battery life so far I found to be in the 2.5 to 3 hour productive connected usage mode, which is not that brilliant considering there are devices like the UMID M1 out there that can do 4 hours, and the Arcos 5 itself can do a good 4 hours of web browsing over Wi-Fi as well. But let's see. Again, thanks to MobileX for sending this over. The Eking S515 UMPC slider device running Atom 1.2 gigahertz CPU, 1 GB of RAM, 16 or 32 gigs of SSD, and in a nice compact form factor. So this is Chippy from UMPC Portal. Thanks for watching.